Shut up and sit down.
Hey, and welcome to the Freja MMA podcast, where it doesn't matter if you're a casual fan or a championship fighter. Join us in our discussion about the beautiful sport which is mixed martial arts. Hey guys, and we're back with another episode of the Freja MMA podcast, where we are joined by David Jacobsson, who recently has been putting Swedish fighters on the map up in Brave. So he has fought 3 times in a month and a half, and he is going to be fighting again tomorrow night, live from Bahrain. So if you want to check it out, the link is down below. So without further ado, here is the interview with David Jacobsson. Hello, David. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just a quick flight home yesterday to get this interview done with you, obviously. How is it out there in Bahrain?
The life is hard here, man. I mean, can't decide if we're gonna chill at the pool or in the hotel, so a lot of important decisions having to be made. And the food is being served to the room, though, which isn't. I mean, it could be better. Could be a buffet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you got to keep the fight name Fatboy Slim in there. Is that what that's gonna stay now, or have you got the rights to it yet?
I mean, so it started with Robert started calling me Fatboy Slim maybe 4 years ago, I think, because I was so skinny and I was hammering food like a fat dude. That's why I'm called Fatboy Slim, actually, because I eat like a fat dude while being skinny.
So with this fight as well, is it contested at super welterweight? Is that correct?
Yeah, super welterweight, 79.5 kilos.
Okay, because
that's February. This February, sorry, I fought in 70 kilos. So
yeah, because I saw a couple of websites saying that it was middleweight, some saying welterweight and stuff like that. So I just wanted to get it, set the record straight there.
Yeah, super welterweight, 79.5 kilos.
Okay, and so your record is now 8-2. You're ranked 6th in the Nordic welterweight on Tapology, and you've had 3 fights in around 1.5 months. Is this the new normal because of this coronavirus, that we will see fighters popping up whenever there is fights for them?
I mean, I've been changing weight classes based on where the fights are at for pretty much all my pro career. I mean, I started out as a welterweight when I was maybe 79 kilos, and which is less than I'm weighing in when I'm fighting 70 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I've been jumping like welterweight and lightweight back and forth for pretty much 4 years. I mean, I'm sure it's like 7 kilo difference, but I'm pretty happy at 82 kilos now, I'd say. So I can make 70, but the life is a bit harder and rougher. I can't speak to other fighters, but I mean, most of them are pretty scared to fight like larger opponents.
Mm.
I mean, because it's scary, right?
Yeah.
Fighting a big dude.
Yeah, I mean, we was talking a bit on the comment section on Facebook and Instagram about one of your former opponents in Brave, and will it be the norm also that you will be going up against these jacked guys and a bit suspicious there on your half at least?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm ready to fight steroid guys. I don't care. I mean, for me, technique has won all my fights, and I have a pretty strong. I'm pretty mentally tough, I'd say. So that combined with my technique is usually what wins me the fight, together with my understanding of the sport, I'd say, like strategy wise and such.
So you just touched on it there, your understanding of the sport. Can we get a bit of a background story on how you started in mixed martial arts and then becoming not only a fighter but also a promoter with Wolf Fight Promotions as well?
Yeah, I was watching MMA pretty much every day when I was, I think, from 13 or 14. And watching the young guys. I mean, before John Jones became a champion, I was a big MMA fan. I watched Bully Beatdown on YouTube and fell in love. Tried MMA once when I was 15. I had like football and handball and a lot of excuses to not start. It was expensive. My dad didn't like it, so I didn't start training until I was 18 in a small gym in Båstad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like five, maybe a group of 5 and 2 trainers, which was a great place to start because we had a lot of trainer time, let's say. And then the gym closed because the economy was too bad, and then we moved to Halmstad, me and my brother, and that's probably 4 or 5 years ago. I did two shoot fights, and then I did my pro debut, which was like maybe 1.5 year after I moved to Halmstad. So I had only trained for pretty much 1.5 year.
Mm-hmm.
That went pretty bad though. The pro debut.
So you're kind of like the new generation of these MMA fighters that have been fans and analyzing fights before they even step into any kind of fight gym or dojo or anything like that.
Yeah, and also since the gym was so small, and I pretty much had to become my own coach of sorts, and a coach to all the younger guys, my little brother, and we had a few other guys who was 2 years younger than me, like Devin Rariano, Oscar Carlson, and other guys. So I had to like seek the knowledge I needed for myself, especially, and also the other guys. Which, I mean, not only fighting but weight cutting and everything. Because I was getting some from my coach, of course, but I'm pretty much no coach can give you everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can have the best MMA coach in the world, and they don't know shit about the weight cutting. So unless you're at a great facility with a lot of competent people, you're better off like seeking the knowledge yourself too. And that's what I've been doing pretty successfully. But it's time to make a change, though.
So how did it come about with your own promotion as well?
We were fighting abroad, me and Robert Nystrom, and we were being sent there as sacrificial lambs, pretty much. I was fighting world champions in judo and in other sports with 10 times the experience I had, if that's even enough. Like my second pro fight, I had 1 loss, no wins. I was fighting Ian Feenan, 6 wins, 1 loss. Former like national judo for UK and silver medalist, I think, in both Worlds and Europeans. And I mean, Robert had the same journey. He was fighting these monsters. Callum Murray, one of Scotland's best grapplers in his second fight. I think top 4 grapplers in Scotland at the time. And we were fucking blue belts. I mean, we were blue belts. I mean, we didn't know shit. And so we learned the hard way. And I pretty much got tired of being sent abroad to lose, essentially. And I didn't want my other fighters to go through the same thing. And I saw the concepts abroad, like with the amateur card with the pro on top, and I was, we can probably do this. And so that's why I started Wolf Fight Promotion, because I mean we didn't have any opportunities available, and pretty much nobody did in the lower parts of Sweden. But yeah, I mean, I never even got the chance to fight in my own promotion because I injured my knee, though. But at least my other fighters will have the opportunity.
So, like, and a successful promotion at that. I mean, you was on the cusp of doing an event with AK Fighting Championship and things like that. But obviously, the Corona got in the way. But now you're in Bahrain. You had 2 fights in Brave in quick succession, winning both, and now you have a fight tomorrow. So how do you feel about signing for Brave and getting these opportunities now?
Yeah, so of course there's always like advantages and disadvantages to signing with the promotion, but I mean what Brave is doing, no other promotion is doing right now. They're putting so much, especially money and also time into the sport, and I felt this was probably the right move. I signed 5 fights to Brave, and hopefully I can get them racked up before end of last year, and it will help me focus on myself only, and not have to start like chase fights every day. Because before I was sitting on Facebook maybe an hour each day, like looking for fights, talking to promoters, and yeah, so I don't have to do that really. Now I know not only, but my main focus now is winning the fights. Whereas before I had no security. Let's say I had to rack up one fight every month to live only on MMA. I have other sources, of course, of income, but MMA I had to fight once a month to live on only MMA. Now that's not the case. Now I can live pretty comfortable as long as I keep winning.
Yeah, and winning you are doing. I mean, the last two fights in Brave that both went your way very quickly. I saw that even in one fight you didn't have your original corner team. You actually brought in some podcast hosts. I guess it was a thing of us not being at the right place at the right time. Otherwise, the opportunity could have been there.
Yeah,
So
sorry, bro.
it's cool. There may be another time. You never know. So talk to us a bit about these wins and what they meant to you, because we saw, especially on your last fight, on your post-fight interview, you did seem a bit overwhelmed with the whole thing.
So yeah, to start out, I had 3 fight books. If you go back to March of this year, I had 3 fight books lined up, and one tough fight and 2 pretty comfortable ones, I'd say. So things were finally starting to happen for me, let's say. And then Corona came. All 3 fights got cancelled, and I thought, yep, maybe next year I can live on fighting. Then Brave came along, and first, I mean, the opportunity wasn't great. I was fighting a very underrated fighter in Ilmorov. I mean, Sambo champion, Judo champion. He smashed Oliver Enkamp 3 years ago in kickboxing. So very good fighter, but I mean, kind of small name, and I didn't really perform in that fight. I mean, I hate winning on points. I'm sure it's better than winning because you get more opportunities, but it's not close to losing. So winning on points, I'd say. And then the second fight, all I wanted to do was perform to my ability, really. Show everybody what I'm capable of, and that I did. And then the world just opened itself up, and it's gonna keep getting more exponential as I rack up these wins. If I do it in a, let's say, dominant manner.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's important, but how you win, it changes. I mean, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying there. I know that fighters hate to get draws and to get wins on points when they don't feel like, when they feel like it is a close matchup and things like that. And I can completely understand that. On that basis, then, I've heard a lot of fighters saying that they're working with mental coaches. Are you also working with some sort of mental coach, or are you doing that yourself?
No, I'm not. I've been thinking about starting, actually. I mean, sure, I would say mental toughness would be one of my strengths. So, I mean, at least maybe not mental toughness, but mental stability, I'd say. Because that's the only thing separating me from a lot of other guys who's been training for 5 years and still in the amateur, waiting to make the move to pro. I mean, one more amateur fight and then I go. But I've been reading some books on sports psychology, and I think David Goggins' book had the most effect on me, actually, which was also a little part of why I went to the last fight with no corner, because I wanted to, I mean, challenge myself, put myself out there, do something very uncomfortable. I was alone in my hotel room for maybe 5 days, I think. Of course, I had friends in Stockholm too, but it's still very challenging. Alone with your mind for 5 days helped me understand how the fighting mind works a bit better.
Yeah, a lot of fighters like to seek the discomfort before they kind of go in there. I guess it makes the fight a little bit easier for them as well.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, sure, the training is usually uncomfortable, and all the stress it puts on the mind to have a fight lined up. Some people can't handle it as well. But I mean, I want to be able to articulate the feelings out for when I'm a coach in the future. It will help me understand everything much better if I'm alone with it, rather than maybe fleeing from the feeling. I just dive into it, try to understand it deeper.
So how did it feel as well? A large mental part of this, I would say, will come into it as well. How did it feel to fight in these empty arenas with no fans? I mean, that must be quite a daunting task there, especially as well not having coaches on your corner. So I guess everything was quiet on that night as well.
Yeah, I mean, the fight was so quick though, the last one, and the guys from Jacobsson, they were loud. Even if they don't know MMA too much, they know how to scream, and that they did. But I mean, I miss the crowd. I think most people perform worse with the crowd, and I perform pretty much the same, which is why I like it, because it usually gives me a little bit of an advantage, because the other guys, their nerves get to them, I'd say, and they want to swing at you harder than before. While without the crowd, it's not really the same. I mean, it just feels a bit weird.
I see. So tomorrow in Bahrain, live on, I guess, their website and Fight TV and everything else, you'll be fighting Ibrahim Mane. Do you know anything much about your opponent?
I mean, of course, he's a big dude. Used to fight at middleweight. He won the South Africa version of the Ultimate Fighter, which is also called the Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And so those wins doesn't count to his record, because it was only two round fights. So he's a good opponent, really. I mean, but the only advantage I would give him is his size and maybe strength. He's been knocked out twice in a row though in his last two fights. So I'm not sure. I mean, I can't really know what type of fight to expect, because I was expecting a war against Laskar in my last fight, but as soon as I was in there and he tried to punch me in the face, I mean, his distance was way off, and I felt his energy, and I knew pretty fast that this wasn't gonna go long, and I'm not sure how this fight's gonna go, but I'm gonna feel in the first minute if it's gonna be a war, if he has improved, or if I'm gonna smoke him in the first. I'm not sure. So, but he's a good dude.
Yeah, I was a bit confused when looking up, doing a bit of revision on him, because so many countries popped up. It was South Africa, it was Gambia, it was France, it was Belgium, I think it is, or wherever he's training at. So thanks for clearing that up on why he must be representing South Africa in the rankings, at least.
Yeah, that's why it's been fighting. I think it's called EFL, the South African promotion, which is pretty good. One of the larger ones in the world, actually, probably the largest one in Africa. But he's from France.
Yeah. So without giving too much away, give us a bit of a insight to your game plan against your opponent.
So once again, I don't know what type of fight it's gonna be, but my game plan is to keep calm and find him with a hard right on the chin. See if he goes down. If he does, that's an easy night for me. And if he doesn't, I'm in for a tough fight. Maybe show some grappling of mine too, if I want to.
So, are you looking to keep on this streak with quick comebacks to the cage?
I think after this fight, I'm gonna take at least 1 month from fighting, not from training though. I need to, because when you have so many fights lined up, I can't really train hard between fights, because then my body will be sore for the fight. So that's my main issue. So I can't really train hard and get in better shape because of all the fighting I've been doing. So I like at least 1 month, maybe 1.5, to get in better shape, let's say.
And plans looking into the future, are they all going to be in Bahrain, or do you feel like Brave is going to be spreading out and doing more events around Europe and things like that you will be a part of?
Brave is spreading around everywhere, man. I mean, they're looking at shows in Abu Dhabi and Russia, and they'll keep on doing. Europe probably will be back in Sweden, most likely, and maybe we can have fans when when that time comes.
Yeah, I assume that if anywhere is going to have fans, it will be Sweden. I think they are starting to set up some events with certain amount of fans here in Sweden. So
Yeah, that would be awesome. Fighting, I probably in Stockholm again though, which isn't my main base, but I mean, fighting in at least in my home country, in front of fans again would be nice. Only done it once.
well, I was thinking as well, you being in Bahrain is not so far from Fight Island. So hopefully, if your last fight with Brave is in Bahrain, then maybe you can hop over there and take a short notice fight. You never know.
That would be cool, wouldn't it? That would be cool. But yeah, I need 4 more fights after this one though. So give me some time.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that everything goes well for that anyway. So usually around this time we give the mic over to our guests to thank sponsors, friends, family, anyone that has inspired you or anything like that. So here's your time to do that now.
Yeah, I would like to thank the boys again at the gym, Noah and Julius, and I think Ronnie too, who's been holding our bully, bully campaign and anti-bully campaign rather back at home, because me and my brother Ola is occupied in Bahrain, so that's my main shout out. And yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I won't take away their shout outs by giving more. So
No,
I'll stick it to.
that sounds great. I mean, that's a large cause, and I hope it all goes well with that as well.
Yeah, I think the program is in good hands with those guys, even though they're only like 17, soon 17. We have some good up and coming youngsters at the gym who's going to be a real threat to everybody in Sweden soon.
I was going to ask as well, who will be coming up next after you? So I guess you got the names there as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're not directly after me. They're probably like the third generation. We have the second generation with my little brother, of course, Ola Jacobsson and Oscar Karlsson, David Ariano. So I'd say they are the second wave after me and Robert, who's been leading the way to maybe the rougher path. And they have a bit easier one ahead of them, I'd say. So, and then the third generation with all the young guys, who's like 16, 17 now, starting with their shoot fighting soon. We have good things coming out of Halmstad.
Well, I'm excited to see them all. So thank you for your time. I'll link everything down below, your Instagram, the fight pay-per-view and everything, the links.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for your time. I know you just weighed in today and everything, so I really appreciate the time that you've given today.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man.